Hi, my name is AunaLisa, and I chose to do my presentation on hazardous waste 40 CFR 261, Identification and Listing of Hazardous Waste. A short history about hazardous waste. The RCRA, which is also known as the Resource Conservation Recovery Act, is a U.S. law that provides in broad terms the general guidelines for the waste management program. The EPA, which is also known as the Environmental Protection Act agency, was developed to set laws and regulations to implement these laws on October 21st, 1976. The RCA Hazardous Waste Program regulates commercial businesses, federal, state, and local government facilities that generate, transport, treat, store, or dispose of hazardous waste. The definition of hazardous waste is a waste with properties that make it dangerous or potentially harmful to human health or the environment. I've listed some class and types. The hazard codes for ignitable waste is a capital I, corrosive waste a capital C, reactive waste a capital R, toxicity characteristic waste a capital E, acute hazardous waste a capital H, and toxic waste a capital T. And over here I have a ply card, which we'll get into more detail a little bit later. Let's take a closer look at what kinds of waste there are. So ignitable waste creates fire under certain conditions spontaneously combustible. If it has a flash point less than 140 degrees, and an example is waste oils and used solvents. And in this picture I have an example of some disposal areas for waste oil. Corrosivity is acids or bases with a pH less than or equal to 12.5 are capable of corroding metal containers, storage tanks, drums, and barrels. And an example of this is battery acid. And corrosive, I have an example right here in this sign right here as well. Reactivity is unstable under normal conditions, causes explosions, toxic fumes, gases, or vapors when heated, compressed, or mixed with water. An example is lithium, sulfur, and batteries or explosives. And in this picture I have an example of a mining site where you would definitely find explosives. Toxicity is harmful or fatal when ingested or absorbed. An example is mercury and lead, and land disposed contaminated liquids may leach from the waste and pollute groundwater. And right here I have an example of a biohazard infectious waste sign. I feel like this is the most well known to people. They've seen it often in movies or anywhere, a hospital. The National Fire Protection Association system, also known as NFPA, is responsible for the diamond placards, which you see right here, and they'll have ratings from 1 to 4, and the bluest is equal to health, the red is equal to flammable, yellow is equal to reactive, and white is equal to special information not labeled, such as PPE or emergency procedures. I've provided some translations. So caution is equal to 0 or a 1 rating. Warning is equal to at least 1 or 2 rating. Danger is equal to 2 or 3. Danger is equal to 3 or 4 rating. And I also have some examples of the signs that you would see around that are mandatory for sites that are containing hazardous material. If I go back to this slide here, as well as this placard, you would see these on the back of like a fueling truck, or see this on something that's transporting any kind of toxic waste, or on a building site. You would see this if they're holding anything that's flammable or anything that's special, because some of them might have oxygen, it might be an oxidizer, so they would have this down here on this white area. So that's something to look out for. So after doing my research on 40 CFR 261, hazardous waste identification and labeling, I've learned the importance of being aware and knowledgeable of the hazardous chemicals in the workplace, but as well as in your home. It's my new goal to look up all the chemicals that I have in my home and educate myself on how to properly dispose of these chemicals, because I'm sure that I've thrown something away that shouldn't have thrown away regularly as regular trash. And I think I feel like doing this because I want to see how much I can prevent from entering the landfills. Thank you all for your time, and thank you for listening.